911. What
Whoa. Welcome right, all you cats and kittens, all you ladies and lady killers out there in real vile land. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. It's time to get real vile. All right. I'm about to introduce my host, the Prime Minister, the Sinister, Mr. Ruthless Chris. Tell him
How
what's
about
up.
it, bitch?
How about it, bitch?
How about it, bitch?
All right. That's what he got to say. How about it, bitch? All right. And of course, we can't go without saying hello to the psycho thriller, the all driller, no filler, Miss Kelly, the killer Miller. Ow!
Hey. What was it last week? You called me something about a tower?
The Tower of the Hour.
The Tower of the Hour.
Kelly, the Tower of the Hour is here.
Yes, the Tower of the Hour. What is up?
Baby, I worked on your intro all day today. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't calling you no tower again, all right? You know what I'm doing. I try to make it legit as shit, baby. Ooh la la, c'est la vie.
Kelly's only like 3.5 feet tall, so the tower she ain't.
I'm 5'2".
It's like when you call a big dude slim or a short dude tall, you know.
Like
you know
tiny Zeus Lister.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. She's the tower of the hour.
The Tower of the Hour.
I'm the
shortest one here by far.
I'm just gonna stick to the psycho thriller, the all driller, no filler, Kelly, the killer Miller. All right, that's gonna be it. There are no towers.
I'll take it.
All right. And of course, there was me, the G to the E to the R to the M. The T stands for the, but you already knew that because you're a bunch of smarty pants. And we're about to rip it up in a modern way. So you know it's got to be Germ T Ripper getting ready with the real vile Valentine's Day special, babies. Oh, we're about to kick it all the way live, talking about The Love Witch coming out in 2016. But before we do all that, let's see what we've been up to. All right. How about you, Ruthless Chris? What have you been up to lately?
Kelly and I, we went to a horror convention that was held in Monroe, Michigan over the weekend. My buddy Nate opened the Monroe Museum of Horror, and they had like a oddities and horror expo. So Kelly and I went and got a bite to eat, and then we went and perused around there. It was really cool. They had like a bunch of like people that like make stuff like like stuff out of skulls and
it was the oddities and horror fest. I'm really regretting not buying that little tentacle in the jar that I wanted to buy. I've been thinking about it. I'm like, damn it, I should have bought that.
Well, they do still sell them at the Museum of Horror, so you can still get one.
I've been wanting to check that place out anyway.
We'll have to get Nate on here sometimes. He's a filmmaker too. And he doesn't live that far away, and he helps me out with my wrestling shit sometimes. So we'll have to get him on here sometime. But it was a good time. Bought some DVDs. I got this Frankenhooker shirt from Synapse. Synapse was there. Talked to that dude for like a long ass time. He had a dope ass mutilator hat on. I liked that. Who was that artist we met who you bought the Crypt Keeper shirt from?
I got his card. I should have. It's not on me, but I don't remember the name.
Me and him got in a weird conversation because he had pins laid out of like artwork he had done, and I was the only one, I guess, that recognized the killer from Violent Shit, which he had done. He's like, "You know Violent Shit?" I was like, "Yeah, man." And what was funny is I was just having a conversation about Violent Shit, ironically, like 30 minutes beforehand with the Synapse guys. So it was pretty weird how that all came full circle. But aside from that, we announced our New Jersey show, Street Trash, named it after some fine horror. And then we're going to Chicago out there with you, Germ. That'll be so. Jersey will be April 2nd as part of the Faces of Death weekend with ICW No Holds Barred and H2O, Matt Tremont's company. And then uh, June 17th, we'll be at the Berwyn Eagles for Take As Needed for Pain with Abdullah Kobayashi straight over from Japan. So we keep an eye out for that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Kelly? You got anything to add to that?
I mean, other than the Horror and Oddities Festival we went to, no, it's been a pretty usual week for me. It's winter time. I don't get out much. Kind of a hermit this time of year. I like it that way, you know?
Yes, just this time of year.
Hey. No.
She has been regaling everyone she knows with all this insane info she has found out about Groundhog Day and Punxsutawney Phil.
That's true. That's true. I was like on Groundhog Day, I was pretty curious about I was like, what, do they just go find a groundhog and like pull it out of the hole, or do they set this up? So I start looking up Groundhog's Day. And like the more I fucking read about this holiday, the more I'm like, what in the actual fuck? So now like it is a bucket list thing for me. I'm going to Punxsutawney for the live fucking Groundhog's Day celebration. Dude, it looks like a fucking blast. They've got the whole
the shit like she was showing me, she's not lying, man. Like they're saying that Punxsutawney Phil has been the same groundhog and they give it a eternal life elixir.
Yeah,
and they have these really weird songs they play, and they all like there's like this group of dudes that like tend to him, and they all have weird
the
names
inner
like
circle
Breaker and Storm Creator and shit like that.
And when they put like the news doesn't show you shit about like the celebration that's going on there in fucking Punxsutawney. Like, I mean, the tradition is you knock 3 times on his little door, you pull him out, and then the head of the inner circle has a couple words with him in which he directs them to the proper scroll, which shows what the weather is going to be like when he's seen his shadow and he's held up for the crowd. It's a whole fucking ridiculous thing. And like I said, the more I find out, the more questions I have. And I'm fascinated.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day, by the way.
Speaking of which, are either of you two doing anything special for VD?
Nope. My boyfriend works in restaurants, so we will be recording next episode. I think, unless you guys are doing anything.
I'm not doing shit. I'm the only single one in the group, so I got nothing going on.
Next day, we might go spend a day at a hotel that's kind of in the area. That's a good time. So we were thinking about doing that. I might take the day off. Got some paid time off that I can, good reason.
Ooh la la, fancy Dan. That sounds like a good time indeed. This past Saturday, I got to spend time with my home promotion, POW Entertainment, POWW, Purely Obsessive Wrestling World, here in Chicago. And they announced live, which they were going to wait until March, that they're doing their first ever Pride show in June. And they announced that me, Mr. Jerem T. Ripper, will be doing the ring announcing. It's my first time doing ring announcing. So I'm very excited, very honored, a little bit nervous for this opportunity. It's going to be a blast, though. I think I'm going to kill it. I think I'm going to kill it, baby. You know what I'm saying?
I think you're going to do great, Jeremy. You're built for this shit.
Well, like my favorite ring announcer of all time, and I don't say this lightly, is Mr. Larry Legend. And I don't want to copy him, but I'm definitely going to be influenced by him. And then locally, of course, I am my favorite ring announcer is Kirby Alexander. So, the two of them definitely are going to have a big influence on how I perform at this Pride wrestling event in June. And it's going to be something special, baby. It's going to be something special. Absolutely. Very excited for it. But with all that being said, let's get talking about some spooky, scary, exploitation, sleazy, all that goodness, Valentine season. What you been watching, Mr. Ruthless Chris?
All right. So 2 of these I kind of tried to go in like a Valentine's Day lovey kind of thing. The other one's not. I was going to talk about Skinamarink, but we're going to do an actual episode for that next episode. So kind of just threw another one that wasn't Valentine's Day, but I did watch and haven't talked about it. So there's going to be two lovey-dovey kind of things. Well, more fucked up horror, but the vein of love. And then, just a movie I watched. But the first one I'll talk about is called Blood Punch. Anyone seen Blood Punch?
A while ago. I think around when it came out. That was like late
2014. Directed by Madalena Paxson. You can watch this thing on Tubi. This was pretty cool. Basically, you have a woman who meets a guy in rehab, and he's an ex-meth cook. And like they kind of start like flirting with each other. They kind of fall in love, and she convinces him to leave the rehab to go to this cabin for one night, cook a shit ton of meth, so that she can sell it to her ex-boyfriend, and they can make a bunch of money and run away together. Right?
Yeah.
Simple
so
setup.
not the movie I was thinking of.
They go out to the cabin. The ex-boyfriend shows up. They accidentally kill him. And then it turns into a weird time loop situation where every couple hours, this ex-boyfriend comes back and they have to deal with him again. And they throw him off the back patio and like his body is just piling up. And it's just like this dude over and over again. And they're like trying to figure out why they're in this time loop, why this guy keeps coming back. They're still trying to make the meth because they're going to meet with his boss and sell it. It's a pretty interesting movie. It's pretty gory. It's low budget, but it doesn't really hurt it because most of it takes place in a cabin and then a warehouse. So like they don't have like a lot of locations or a lot of characters. It's kind of a small movie. But it was a lot of fun. I'll give this thing like 2.5. Definitely worth watching, but it's not like anything that'll knock your socks off. I do like time loop movies like this.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of interesting. But if that's what you're looking for, I would go to a movie like Triangle first and then maybe go to this if you want a good time loop movie. But yeah, Blood Punch, it was pretty good.
Hell yeah, I love me some time loop movies. Triangle was awesome. And this is not the movie that I thought it was when you started explaining it. So I will have to check this one out.
Yeah, it sounded super interesting to me until you said 2.5 stars. That doesn't, I mean, I need at least 3 stars before I'm interested in checking a baby out, baby.
I give 2.5 to like a middle of the road movie. Like if it didn't knock my socks off, but it didn't suck. If it was just like a serviceable movie, I give it 2.5,
Yeah, that's good mid.
Yeah, it's like right in the middle. Like I liked this movie. I would say it's a good movie. But if I was looking for a time loop movie, I'd definitely go to Triangle before I went to this. But this was still cool.
All right. Well, that sounds like a good time to spend some time. How long would you say that movie is?
It was short. It was like I think like 80 something minutes.
Yeah, if it's 90 minutes or less, you ain't got nothing to lose. You might as well go for it. You might as well show that movie what time it is, what time you're getting at, baby. You know what I'm saying? All right, Killer Kelly, what you been watching?
This week I tried to stay around the theme of like love or romance or exit. Some of them are kind of I tried to stay on that theme. The first one I'm going to talk about was pretty fucked up. Like you left that movie feeling like dirty, like you need a shower, and not in the same way that Speak No Evil was. This was just icky.
Okay.
This is 1976. The Witch Who Came from the Sea.
Such a good movie.
Yeah,
Such a good movie.
Good. This was one of the video nasties, the UK video nasties in the 70s. One of the ones that were banned from the UK. I watched it on Shudder, and you can also watch it on Tubi. This was directed by Matt Cimber, which he also directed Glow, like the 1980s series with the wrestler, the wrestling women. He did that, and when I was looking at his IMDb, apparently lots and lots of sexploitation and like blaxploitation flicks in the 70s as well, which was pretty interesting. This one's pretty fucked up. Millie, she's the main character. She's like a seamstress, bartender. She's always watching her 2 nephews. They love her. She seems pretty normal at first, but like right off the rip, you notice that she's like kind of obsessive about her dad. And like you soon find out like there's some there's some like incest shit going on there. He was apparently lost at sea. And this movie gets like pretty disturbing real quick with like her flashbacks to like what was happening with her and her father. I don't know. Like obviously like she's disturbed from like years of this sort of abuse that she was going through, but she's like completely, I don't know, what's the word, I can't like putting this into words. She's like now like been groomed into it where she doesn't see anything wrong, you know, she's just like straight obsessed with her father. And like obviously like she's kind of crazy, so she starts killing dudes, you know, she starts killing people she sleeps with. And like it seems like her killings, like somebody tells the story of Venus, the Greek god and stuff. And there's a part in the story somehow that has to do with castration. So she like castrates a lot of her victims. Dude, this movie's pretty fucked up, but it was a good story. But it left you feeling like icky. It was there's a lot of like homophobic, racist language in it. It's a decent slasher though, I'm not gonna lie. It's very heavy in the sex scenes, very heavy in like sexual violence. But at times, like it's really like trippy. Like she's kind of a drug addict. She takes a lot of pills, so like it gets like slowed down in the talking, and it's kind of cool how they do that. I don't know. I'd probably give it a 2.5 or a 3. It was really fucking disturbing.
See, baby, when you say really fucking disturbing, I love really fucking disturbing movies.
Yeah.
I only watched this movie because it came in like a mystery horror box for me a few years ago. I got the DVD of it. And I want to say Arrow put this out on Blu-ray, but it wasn't that.
Maybe.
I don't think it was the Arrow edition that I got. But I fully enjoyed this movie. And I would actually go as far to say it was like a 3.5.
Yeah,
For me at least. And definitely influential for our main movie tonight.
for sure. You could
Love
definitely
Witch.
see the influence from like the Love Witch from the witch who came from the sea. It was, and it had like its silly parts, like the tattoo artist that's tattooing the mermaid on her stomach has this like weird eye twitch. He's like, "Whatever, lady," and I don't know. There were some parts in it that like made me giggle.
Whatever, lady.
Well, he said that multiple times because she's trying to talk to him, and you can just tell that he gives zero fucks. You know, I don't know. There's a couple like little things in it that it's humorous and it's a decent watch, but God, it's fucking disturbing.
Like it, I love it. Give me more of it, baby.
Yeah.
I guess it's my turn now, and I'm going to talk about a little film that takes place on Valentine's Day. It's called Picnic at Hanging Rock. All right. Now, this movie came out in 1975, and it's based on a true story about in like the early 1900s during a rural summer picnic. A few students and a teacher from Australian girls' school vanished without a trace. Their absence like frustrates and haunts the people left behind, and it just gets really weird and trippy. And it's like it's got a sense of cosmic horror, and it's got a sense of folk horror, and the fact that it's based on a true story is definitely gives it another angle that makes it something that needs to be seen. You know what I mean? Because there aren't too many. There really aren't too many horror movies or genre films that take place on Valentine's Day. So digging this one up made me want to see it, you know. And it was definitely a strange trip to take. I fully enjoyed it though. I fully enjoyed it, you know, because Australians make some weird ass movies, and this was definitely along those lines. And it was funny that in 2018, Amazon Prime did their own take on the same based on a true story. It was a 6-episode miniseries. So obviously there's something to this that still infatuates people enough that they want to keep coming up with their own renditions. They're yeah, it's seriously weird. People get they they disappear, and then it messes with your mind, and other people disappear and they come back, and it's kind of like a Stonehenge type thing. So yeah, if you're into cosmic horror, if you're into folk horror, this is definitely something to check out. And weird, 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 but amazing film. I gave it a 3.5 stars.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this one.
No,
Well,
yeah, I never heard of it.
It's streaming on HBO Max. So if you got HBO Max, take it to the max and check out Picnic at Hanging Rock. It's a perfect VD film, baby. And it made in 1975, so it's gonna have that retro feel that is of appeal. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, let's keep this terror train rolling. If you got nothing else to say about Picnic at Hanging Rock, I want to hear what you got to say about the next film there, Mr. Ruthless Chris.
Well, just want to sneak this in here. Speaking of HBO Max, I know I've said this every week, but goddamn, The Last of Us has been such a fantastic fucking show.
I still haven't started it yet. I'm sorry.
Really worth checking out. It's what's really cool about it is they're doing a lot of cool character study stuff, and they're taking a lot of bold swings and bold choices. Not this week's episode, but the episode the last week really ruffled some people's feathers, and other people thought it was fantastic because it all really centered around what should be minor characters in a very engaging gay love story. And they took the entire episode just to tell it. And then like it made it more crushing because they let you get to know these characters so well before things turn bad for them. And the show itself is just turned into this fantastic drama. It's violent, it's epic, it's really good. So just wanted to throw that out again. I cannot get enough of Last of Us. I'm tuning in every Sunday night for new episodes. Fantastic show. But next movie I'm going to talk about, this is like, what's that?
You keep telling me to watch it. I'm yet to.
Knowing how you are with things I suggest to you, get around to it in about 3 years and ask me if I've seen it. like how you're doing with I Think You Should Leave right now.
Fucking, I love that show.
So my next movie, this is like a no budget movie. But it looks good. It's only got like 3 actors in the whole fucking thing. It's called Girl in Woods. You watch this on Tubi, 2016, directed by Jeremy Benson. What you have is a woman who's in love with this guy, and they're gonna go camping in the woods, and she's not an outdoorsy person. She's not like has no experience in like being alive or survival in the woods if anything were to happen. And he's like he can pitch the tents, he can just look at the sun, know where to go, like he's a real outdoorsy kind of guy. And they're having this wonderful camp out date in the woods, and he accidentally shoots himself and dies, and she's stuck in the middle of the woods, and she has no idea how to get out. And as time goes on, you start to realize that she doesn't have her medication, and she's mentally unwell to the point where she starts seeing doppelgangers of herself that are talking to her. And, like one's like kind of evil and one's kind of fucking, trying to help her. And like, she's kind of just losing her mind. It's basically a one girl in the woods by herself most of the movie trying to figure out how to survive. This is not going to be for everybody. Going into it, no, like it's not like a body count movie. It's not super brutal, but it's really well done and really like psychologically crazy. The girl that did the performance, like she's playing 3 different characters, and the only way you could tell them apart is like one version of herself wears the hood up, and that's an evil one, and like the one wears her hair different, and that's the good one. But it's like 3 of herself, and she's talking to herself the whole time. And it's her trying to get out. And she keeps thinking that she's about to get out, and then or that she's making her way through the woods, and she's figuring this out, and then she keeps coming across her boyfriend's dead body over and over again, and she's like fucking going in circles.
Some Groundhog Day shit.
Oh no, because it's not timely. She's just bad in the woods, and she's not well, and she like her mind's playing tricks on her the whole time, and her other versions of herself are fucking with her, and like she doesn't know what to do. Um, I I'd give it a 3. What I've seen online is people either love or hate this thing. Like people just call it utter dog shit, or people say it's fantastic. I'm like middle ground on it. It was very good. It was a great concept to make a full length movie with not a lot of money, just by having it be mostly one woman in the woods, because you don't really have a lot of production costs there. So you can actually make the film itself look good, as opposed to having that daytime soap opera digital kind of look. But yeah, I would check it out. Girl in Woods. You can watch on Tubi.
Hell yeah.
Very cool. That sounds like something I'd like to check out, like a psychological thriller. That sounds like something that be a little nugget of psychological thrillerness.
The psychological thrillerness.
The killer thriller, Kelly Miller. Baby, what you been watching?
The next one I watched is one that's on Netflix, starring Megan Fox. This one is Till Death. Emma and Mark. Emma is played by Megan Fox. Her and her husband Mark, they're obviously married. They're having some relationship issues. There's some cheating going on. He's a rich guy. I think she's banging one of his employees. He's the boss of a company. She's banging one of the employees. Well, in the very beginning, she breaks it off because it's their anniversary. She wants to try to make it work with her husband. So he takes her up to this cabin that they used to go to. I didn't catch whether they owned it or not, but they've been there before, because he's like, just remember the memories that we've had here. They have like a beautiful night, and there's all these roses on the floor. And then she wakes up and she's handcuffed to him. And he looked at her, he says some shit, and he blows his head off right next to her. So, like, the rest of the movie is Megan Fox dragging a dead body around this house, trying to get him off. And then, of course, the rich guy, being the rich guy, has some like people after him, because he's got some sort of fortune that they want, or some shit like that. So it goes from being the dragging the body off to her dragging the body around, trying to run from people that are in the house. I don't know. It was a pretty fun movie. It's pretty action packed. I thought it was kind of predictable and silly, and it's also funny that Megan Fox is going through all this shit, but makeup and hair just stays fucking red carpet ready throughout the entire thing.
Immaculate.
Immaculate, But I mean, it was pretty action packed. Other than her dragging around the dead body, I wouldn't really call it much of a horror movie. It's more of a thriller action, but it was decent. I'd give it a 3. It was a decent watch. I didn't hate it.
I watched it too.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it either. I would give it a 2.5. It was a serviceable movie. I wouldn't really call it a horror movie, more of a psychological thriller, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of people just dragging things around through this movie in the snow. So they're like outside just dragging shit.
It's a drag.
It's a drag.
Holy guacamole. What was the name of this movie again?
Till Death. It's on Netflix.
All right. That sounds like one I gotta check out as well, baby. Because I love me some Megan Fox. She is a wild woman. And next up on old Germ T Ripper's list is a little film from 1981. Takes place on Valentine's Day, and it's known by 2 different names. It's known by X-Ray and Hospital Massacre. No matter what you call it, though, baby, it's completely bonkers. All right, like this unhinged slasher goes like on full tilt pretty quickly. Like, who the killer is from like 5 minutes into this movie, but it doesn't matter, because it isn't even about the killer. It's about this nightmarish landscape that this poor woman is subjected to throughout the entire movie. It came out in 1981, sure, and it's about this woman that, while receiving a routine checkup, she finds herself stranded on a hospital's 8th floor. And then someone dressed as a doctor has an intent of never leaving, and means killing the staff and finally comes in contact with her, it's a wild ride. It is a wild ride. Some great gore. It felt very Italian, and I was a big fan of it actually. It was more of a hallucinatory nightmare than a slasher, but it was still a slasher movie. You know what I'm saying? Do you dig what I'm laying down?
I dig it.
I can dig
Yeah.
it.
But it's funny though that the director Boaz Davidson has done everything from The Last American Virgin, the sex comedy, the legendary American sex comedy, to The Expendables, the action. Yeah,
I thought
the
Stallone directed those.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know if he directed them, but he had a
I know
hand
he
in them.
wrote them. He probably
I've
just
actually
wrote them.
recently watched them. Ethan was on an Expendables thing like a
They're
week and a
super
half
fun.
ago.
Those are some super fun movies.
Yeah.
But and this the same director had a hand in the movie Crocodile. So he's done all kinds of crazy movies all across the board. But this movie, X-Ray / Hospital Massacre, is just completely bonkers. And you know, if you like a slasher movie, then you need to see this because it's for completists. It is for a completist of 80s slasher films. I feel like there's a deeper subtext or allegory that they were trying to get across, but it was kind of hard to because there's a lot going on. You know, maybe it's about a woman's struggle against the patriarchy. I don't know, baby, but it was something else. I still give it I'll still give it 3 stars just because it was something. It's something I enjoyed watching. That's for sure. That is for sure. That blood was really red, and it was a good time to have by all. Uh, yeah, it's streaming on Amazon Prime. So if you got the time, kick it one time with Hospital Massacre. You guys seen this one?
I don't
Yeah.
think I have.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's been a while though, to where I don't remember a whole lot about it. Like I think it's been like 10 years since I've seen this thing, but I remember really enjoying it. I remember it being like almost kind of like a giallo, but like I said, it's been a long time. Maybe that's just what you were talking about with the Italian feel.
Definitely had an Italian feel, definitely had a giallo feel to it, you know, because you don't see the killer's face, but you know who the killer is right from second one, because it's a spurned, this kid. It starts out with a little boy, leaving a Valentine for this girl, and she kind of crumples it up, and she's like, I can't believe he wants to send me a Valentine, and they laugh about it, and she cuts her Valentine cake. And she comes back into the room, and her little brother is hanging up from the coat rack.
Oh shit.
And then it fast forwards. She's in a hospital getting a routine checkup. She can't get out, and this guy dressed up like a doctor is killing people. It is wacky and crazy, and I love it.
All right. Oh yeah.
VD.
What's this one called again? Oh yeah, X-Ray Hospital.
Yes, X-Ray / Hospital Massacre. It depends on what streaming network, what website you go to. Some places it's called X-Ray. Some places it's called Hospital Massacre. It's called X-Ray because all the twistedness starts with her getting an X-ray, and they can see something inside of her, and they want to hold her in the hospital because this thing is inside of her, but they never go into detail about that.
Huh.
Crazy.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Very wild, very wild, very wild, very wild. Just like Mr. Ruthless Chris, what you been watching next, baby? Ow!
So this one's out of the outside of the Valentine's Day spectrum. But I watched a movie called Slashback on Shudder. 87 minutes, 2022. Directed by Nyla and Inuk. I really hope I pronounced that right. Inuk, I believe it is. This is all done with native and Arctic actors, like Inuit actors. Like none of them were actors before. Like the director herself is also Inuit as well. So basically, it's like a bunch of unknown kids starring this thing, and they did a phenomenal job. You would never have known that they weren't actors that never had the experience. Like for a movie that's mostly children, it was really good. This is kind of a cosmic horror. So basically, you're in an Antarctic fishing village. You have a group of kids. They steal their dad's boat to go, go do mischief elsewhere like kids do. And they come across this polar bear. And there's something kind of fucked up about this polar bear. It ain't walking right, and it kind of attacks them. They kill it. And then they realize that there's this giant comet kind of thing that had crashed, and it has tendrils, and it was taking over all the wildlife in the area, and eventually starts taking over a couple people. And they kind of their skin's all loose. They kind of seem like zombies a little bit, and the kids got to protect the town from these creatures that come to attack it. This one didn't knock my socks off or anything. It was perfectly reasonable movie. It works for what it is, but it's not anything great. The soundtrack was really, really cool because it had this weird Inuit techno music that used traditional breathing and tribal singing over this really bombastic techno, which gave it a really frantic feel. And it's a type of music I never heard before. It would be good for maybe someone's workout mix. It was pretty cool. It was worth a watch, but it didn't really knock my socks off. It was another middle of the ground one. I give 2.5. The kids did a really good job. I mean, especially they're mostly all between 12 and 14, and it's mostly child actors in this thing. So it was pretty cool that they were able to do such a great job with it. It's a movie I feel like I've seen 12.5 times before, though, aside from the Inuit part, because that's what gave it its own flavor. But comet comes down, zombies attack a town, kids gotta defend. There's a million of those, Invaders from Mars and Slither and shit like that. So that I feel are better. So yeah, Slashback was okay. It's a Shudder original. Came out last year.
Words.
Yeah, no, I remember I've seen this one pop up multiple times, and I keep thinking about it, but it always comes across more like an action film. You know what I mean? And
no, it's a full horror movie. It's mostly horror. There's a little bit of gunplay and stuff, but it's mostly children who don't really know how to use a gun trying to team together to figure out how to use the gun to defend themselves, kind of thing.
Very cool, man. That sounds like something I need to check out. I've been meaning to get around to that. So Shudder, you said?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a Shudder original. It came out towards the end of last year. I watched it at the end of last year when I was trying to make my best of list. It was it made other people's lists, but it just didn't connect with me like it maybe connected with other people. And which is weird because I really like cosmic horror. That's my shit. It should have been up my alley, but it was just okay.
That's legit, baby. That's legit.
Yeah.
Killer Kelly, have you seen this one? Have you seen this one?
No, I haven't. I've seen it, it's suggested to me, flipping through Shudder and stuff like that, but I have not watched it.
All right, baby. Then what have you seen? Let's get on to what you have been watching then.
This next one, I rolled some dice on, kind of went in blind. The cover looked kind of cool. It had a mask, and I watched the trailer, and I was like, this could be all right. No, man. I gambled and I fucking lost the hand. It was not at all what I thought it was going to be. This is Old Flame. It's called Old Flame 2022. And what sucks is I spent money on it. I spent a couple dollars on Amazon. I seen the cover and I was like, okay. And it fits the theme this week. Cool. All right. Old Flame. There's only 2 actors in this entire movie. So they're old college acquaintances. In the beginning, they're having a college reunion, and as the guy, I don't remember his name, as the guy is setting up for the college reunion, he must be on some sort of committee or something. She just shows up hours early, and he didn't recognize her at first, but apparently it was his old flame that he used to date. And this is also broken into 3 acts, and they even do the whole screen, act 1, with the screen. So the whole first act is just them talking in this venue, And like it's just building up how they know each other at that part. Then act 2, they decide to leave the venue and go to a bar and have some like dinner. Like it's established dude is married, he's got a great life now, and this other girl, like she's kind of crazy. She's spitting some shit. You can tell she's on to something in the second act at the table. And literally nothing happens but conversation up until the third act. And then even then, it's a lot more conversation. They just switch places. And like it really just fuck, man. It was kind of lame. I kept waiting. Like I remember pausing it halfway, and then you realize why she's there halfway through the fucking movie. Like it is about halfway, and I'm like, all right. But then nothing happens until well into the third act, and then you're like, that's it. I don't know, man. I don't recommend this one. I might give it a 1.5. It's a serious issue dealing with, again, sexual assault. I don't know why all my love stories happen to be sexual assault related this week, but fuck. Yeah, but
Romance.
Romance. No, that's bad. Terrible. But yeah, this one it didn't land for me. Apparently it was written and directed by Christopher Denham. He directed that Area 51 movie, and he's an actor. It seems like he's been an actor more than anything else. He was in The Bay, he was in Shutter Island, and a whole other list of movies I recognize that I didn't care to list. But I don't recommend this
really
movie.
Good movie that like not a lot of people have seen.
What is?
The Bay.
The Bay is great. Yeah. That was a good one. But yeah, this one didn't land. For one, it like that mask doesn't even come into play till the very end, and that's what like sold the movie for me. I'm like, okay, is this a slasher movie? I was looking for something maybe along the lines of The Loved Ones or something like that. No, it was not. For that, 1.5.
Well, with that little review, baby, I gotta say thank you. Thank you for watching that movie so that none of us have to ever watch that movie again. You're the best, Kelly.
No problem.
All right. Well, this is my last. I'm going to talk about one last movie before we get to our main movie. And of course, I'm going to go for more of an obvious choice for the VD season, for the Valentine Day season. And that is 2001's Valentine.
I love that movie.
Well, the funny thing was, when Scream came out and like all these post-Scream slashers came out and tried to run that same tread, I just ignored most of them. And this was one of the ones that I'd never seen before. So this was a first-time watch for me.
Oh, yeah.
And it's about 5 women who are stalked by an unknown assailant while preparing for Valentine's Day. And, it gets compared to Scream, and I think it's just because it came out around the same time, and it's got attractive young people. But besides that, it doesn't have that meta, it doesn't have that self-aware, sort of like snarky, nudge, wink, wink thing going on that Scream has. This one is a very simple revenge horror movie. This little boy, he tries to get the girls to dance with him, and then there's a chunky girl that he makes out with underneath the stairs, and some bullies find him making out, and she accuses him of assaulting her when he didn't, and so they strip him down to his underwear, and they throw him out to the middle of the dance floor, and he gets embarrassed, and he runs off. Next thing you know, it's like, what, 20 years later, and these same girls start getting killed off on Valentine's Day, and they get spooky cards talking about how they're gonna get killed. There wasn't much to it. It was just what it was. It was a very it was like a throwback to 80s slasher films. There wasn't much to it. Some nerdy kid, he got picked on, now he's gonna kill you.
Yeah, there really wasn't a lot to it, but it was like well done for what it was. And like you said, it was a good throwback. I thought it was a good hidden gem from that era, like compared to a lot of them that were coming out, like besides obviously Scream, but I think the cover of this is what made it so off-putting to a lot of people. Like it's literally just a bunch of like pretty people, and it doesn't look like it looks like it would be a cheesy bad horror movie, but honestly thought it was better than it had any right being, you know?
Every cover from like that little era, there was like a boom of those horror movies right around Scream. They all had that same cover. I Know What You Did Last Summer, Four Pretty People, whatever the guy in the slicker. Valentine's Day, Four Pretty People, the Cherub Mask, Urban Legend, mask. Four People, like that. That was like the formula there. But there was, I do feel like that this one was like better than most.
It was.
Because I think the killer's mask was pretty cool, like the cherub, like the baby cherub. I actually thought that was kind of creepy. And B, like it didn't really pull any punches. I mean, it was a perfectly functional, good horror movie for what it was supposed to be. Like it kind of like it has a little bit of like a prom night vibe, really.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot. The story arc reminded me a lot of Terror Train, the original Terror Train, and
Less
it also
dancing.
reminded me a lot of Slaughter High. I don't know if you've seen Slaughter High or not.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it reminded me a lot of those two films, and a million other films that came out in the 80s. Nerdy kids get picked on, they come back and they kill people. But I will get, I didn't care for how slick and overproduced and like overlit it looked, but that was very indicative of late 90s, early 2000s horror movies, so it wasn't a fault of the movie, it was more of a fault of what was very trendy at the time. I will say this though, the kills in the movie, ooh la la, there were a few in there I'd never seen before, and I've seen a lot of kills. So I was a big fan of the creative kills in this, trapping Denise Richards in the pool and then drilling through it. I thought that was really smart, really well done, and kind of an homage to Slumber Party Massacre. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Was Jennifer Love Hewitt in this one too?
No, that was
I Know What You Did Last Summer.
You Did Last Summer, which apparently they're making a new one of.
Ah.
Yeah, didn't they do a series?
I know they made like 3 of those movies. They quite possibly could have made a series because like they tried to make everything into a series around then.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess with how well Scream did coming back, they're like, well, what else can we bring back? I Know What You Did Last Summer, and then they're going to make another Final Destination, which is another one of those with that one of those covers.
Yeah. The Faculty had a cover like that, I think, too. You're right. That era had so many covers that looked exactly like that, and they all just blended together. But this one, the movie was better than a lot of those. You're right.
Yeah, definitely, because I think the creative kills really elevated it, and that it was a simple throwback that really kicked it up a notch. You know what I mean? Made it a little bit different, a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, it's a slasher, but it doesn't try to be anything more than that,
Right. And everything else was trying to be a little bit smarter, a little bit different. And sometimes, like we learned from the menu, sometimes you just want a cheeseburger.
Sometimes you just want a cheese. That one's definitely Valentine's Day is a cheeseburger. Yes. Valentine's.
Valentine.
Yeah.
And now for our feature presentation.
All right, baby. Well, I think it's about that time. We take a ride to Spoiler Town. We're going to talk about our main movie for the night. And that movie is 2016's The Love Witch. Oh, my goodness gracious gravy. I love The Love Witch so much.
I do, too. I enjoy this one.
I thought, I swear to the devil, I thought I'd seen this one before. I thought that I'd seen it when it first came out. Because at that time, I was big in the movie community, the movie reviewing community, and everybody was raving about it. I think I might have watched it when I was drunk, and I watched maybe about 5 minutes of it, because when I revisited it, I don't remember 2 seconds of the movie. So it was a pleasant revisit on this tale of a modern-day witch that uses spells and magic to get men to fall in love with her, but there are deadly consequences, ooh la la, all along the way. Um, and for a movie made in 2016, baby, they did it all right. It is
Dude, yeah, they
so
nailed it. They nailed it with the 70s look they were going for. Like,
right. It's
That's
so
that's the thing with it though, is like it was meant to look like a 70s film, but
mhm.
it was still modern times.
Uh-huh. If
You
you
know, so
notice,
like
the
they're
one
using
girl
cell
has a
phones and
cell phone.
computers and
Yep.
shit.
There's
But
cell
like
phones. The cars are modern.
literally everything looked like it was from the 70s. Like aside from every once in a while you'd see a computer, or like there was one scene where somebody used a cell phone.
And
But
some of the
like
cars, yeah.
yeah, but everything else, like, and the way that they colorized it, like it, I forgot most of the time I was watching it. This was a newer movie. It felt like I was watching a movie from the
Hmm.
70s. Even like how the actors looked, how they did the makeup, like how they made the costumes.
The
You know, like
camera angles, the way they'd zoom into like her lips and her eyes when she's like staring at someone, or it's a beautiful movie. It's very beautifully shot. Like it's brightly colored. It's kind of got that Technicolor sort of
yeah,
vibe going. It's pretty sweet.
I felt like, it definitely who I felt like the director took painstaking uh research, deliberately making it accurate for like LaVeyan Satanism, for
Yeah.
Wicca, and different properties of witchcraft. Well, delivering a narrative that is very much from more of the female gaze. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It's you know I love that
Definitely
it's a
Leviathan
female
style.
director that did this, and it's really smart. Anna Biller. I don't know if she's really done too much else that's made any waves, but I mean, people are
I
still talking about this movie, and it's so well done, so amazing, so hyper stylized. Like you were saying, the Technicolor, the the sets, props, everything, makeup. It's I love and I also love the part where her and her witchy friends, they're at the burlesque show, and they're not part of the show, they're just there to enjoy the beauty, the sexiness of the women and the atmosphere, and they're just there having a conversation about sex and magic. It was such a smart scene, but the whole movie was so well done.
Yeah, it kind of comes off more as like a comedy as well at parts too.
so
It's
I looked
definitely like
into
a
the
horror comedy.
I looked into the director a little bit, and like this is the only full length she ever did, but everything else she did also was period stuff.
Mm,
So I think that's why she was able to nail that tone so well, because it seems like all she really works in is stuff that looks vintage, you know?
that's cool.
Well, she nailed it. She nailed it like it was a coffin, and these were 9-inch nails, baby. You know what I'm saying?
And the
Um, it reminded me a lot of the 1942 movie I seen at a film festival called "I Married a Witch." So definitely encapsulated that. But then again, like you were saying, it had a comedic aspect to it, Kelly. You were saying it
Hmm.
had a
Hmm.
comedic aspect to
Yeah.
it, which brought to mind Russ Meyer's films. The
definite Russ Myers.
Faster Pussycat Kill Kill,
Yeah.
Vixen,
Yeah.
Beyond the Valley of the Super Vixens, all that good stuff. And then, of course, it also, some of the campiness made me think of John Waters' early films,
I can see that.
The,
so like all
the
that good stuff. And then you mix in the Church of Satan, you mix in a little Anton LaVey, and baby, you're cooking with gas. You're cooking with all that good stuff. Um, and I felt like if you were to take this film and make it into a band, do you guys listen to Twin Temple?
Yes,
yes.
I just recently went and seen them probably 2 months ago or something.
Man,
Yeah.
I seen them live once, and
Hmm.
oh my goodness gracious gravy. If I could see them live a million times, I would. It was almost one of the best shows I've ever seen. But if you were to take this movie and turn them into a
Yes.
musical act, it would be
Yep.
Twin Temple.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's funny because I seen Twin Temple in Detroit, and you can tell the staff had no idea what they were in for. Like as soon as Twin Temple starts, "Hail Satan!" and they're all looking at us like, "What the fuck are we working tonight?" It was humorous, but yes, this movie is actually like I could see Twin Temple playing in this movie, and it wouldn't feel out of place one bit.
One of the things I noticed about this movie is it parades as sleaze, but it's not that sleazy. It's more like high art. Like even like for as much as that woman takes her clothes off, she really they don't really show much of her or anything. You know, like there is nudity in the film, but it's more. This is more like an art film than the sleaze it comes off as, or that you think you're getting into. You know,
like when she is nude, her long hair usually covers her boobs, and but. Yeah, it's not really sleazy at all. If anything, it's more like classy and more like respectable to, like women's form and like witchcraft in that sense, I suppose.
It definitely feels like it has a woman's voice to it.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I mean, the sleaze is still there. It's just not like, as Jerm was saying earlier, it does give you the vibes of like Russ Myers and stuff, but like without the gratuitous bouncing boobs every 30 seconds, which I wouldn't have minded, but it's really not that kind of film. It just kind of parades a little bit as that kind of film.
Yeah, it did feel like Germ said earlier when I was talking about the witch who came from the sea. Now that was sleazy. This one, not so much, but they do have that same sort of feel to them without the crazy incest sleaze. But...
Well, it almost alludes to that though, because like she's escaping her husband, she's escaping her father. You don't have to see it to understand that she is definitely trying to escape the male oppression, and she's taking charge of her sexuality. She's using that sex magic, and she's making it hers. And if men can't control what they're doing, if those women that get those men can't control what they're doing, she's going to control what they're doing. And I really love this movie. I love when a director or a filmmaker can combine high art and lowbrow sleaze. It's a perfect combination for me, at least. You know what I mean?
They nailed it on that with this one as well.
And with a lot of these films that try to do that throwback feel, they kind of fail at it. Like they fail at really immersing you and giving you that feel. Like, what was it? Summer '84 did a good job of that, or like some movies that like do have that throwback vibe. But a lot of them, when they attempt to do that, it just like it feels forced. Like that's what the gimmick is, and they're not really pulling it off well. And this one, if you didn't tell someone when it was made, didn't have like the one scene with the computers and like the cars and like the one scene with the cell phone, you could have convinced somebody like this is from '68.
This might be one of the best ones I've ever seen, actually, like to a T, other than those things you just mentioned. But man, they nailed it.
Yeah.
There is speaking of throwback films that you would never guess were made when they were made, I just gotta throw this out there real quick. There was a movie made in 2017 called Crystal Eyes. That, baby, if you love giallo, track this movie down. I saw it during a film festival, and I swore I thought the filmmakers, because they were supposed to be just showing brand new films that never been shown before, I thought they like snuck in an old giallo film that I'd never heard of. But it was a brand new film, came out in 2017 called Crystal Eyes. And if you love giallo, you'll love this movie. So speaking of throwbacks, to do it right.
Putting on my list.
Yeah, I just wrote it down too, actually. Yeah, man. I've got nothing but really good things to say about this one. It's pretty long. It is about 2 hours long, and towards the end, it does feel like it's kind of dragging a little. And you're like, all right, Elise, how many of these dudes you gonna kill?
There is a much better hour-and-a-half version of this, I believe. Like, I don't think it needed to be 2 hours long for the story they were telling, but it did drag a little bit, but there was some stuff they could have easily cut out.
Yeah,
but for the most part, it was really good.
But yeah, it's basically, a bunch of men go missing around town, and people start accusing the witches. It's a pretty straight to the point storyline, And
I would say that the horror in it's kind of light.
It is.
More towards the end. Like the end was where it gets a little gruesome.
Just a little. And it's not even really gruesome. It is just a little. It's tastefully done.
Tasteful Sleaze.
Tasteful sleaze.
Tasteful Sleaze with the Love Witch.
I really did I thought it was interesting how they made the fact that, there's witches in town and there's an occult store in like this seemingly small town area, in like a go-go dancer bar, like a burlesque bar, and they made it seem like that oh yeah, that's ordinary. Those are witches, but it wasn't like weird, and it looked like the 60s, but it's modern times. It's such a bizarre and wonderful film. I highly recommend it. I would get, and I'm happy that it's streaming for free on Tubi and Pluto TV. I would give this movie a 4.5. I would give it a 5, but like you said, it's a little bit too long. So a 4.5 from me, babies.
I'd probably give it a 4, 3.5, 4.
I'd give it a 4. It's a great film, but I think I would like it a lot better if they just shaved a little bit off it. It is quite the watch to sit down and watch this for 2 hours when it's not a story that really needs 2 hours to be told.
No, it really doesn't. But it is good. It's a beautiful movie. It's a mild one. Nice, mild, easy sleaze. What was the word?
Tasteful Sleaze.
Tasteful easy sleaze.
Easy, sleazy, tasteful, breezy.
Yeah, baby. That's what we like over here. That's what we like over here at Real Vile. We like Tasteful Sleaze. That's a little bit of our bread and butter. If it's disgusting sleaze, we're gonna give it less stars. But on that note, we all loved it. We all enjoyed it. We're giving it 4.5 stars. You can watch it for free on Tubi. You can watch it for free on Pluto TV. But in the meantime, we're about to wrap up this episode, this Valentine's Day episode. We hope everybody has a happy Valentine's Day with their sweethearts, or maybe with their sour hearts, whatever kind of hearts you got, whatever kind of farts you got. You're going to have a good time, baby. Look at
Hell
you.
yeah.
You're shaking your head, Mr. RC Cola over there.
RC Cola.
I'm the RC Cola. We got the Tower of Power.
Easy sleaze.
But why don't you tell these fine people listening at home, what are we going to be talking about next week, Mr. Ruthless Chris?
So we're going to be breaking down Skidamarink. I'm the only one that's watched it so far out of these three. I definitely have a lot to say about it. It'll probably be a good episode because this is quite polarizing in the horror community. People seem to either utterly despise this movie or love it, and I could see exactly why either would feel that way. So it'll be a fun episode. We're going to watch Skidamarink, which is available on Shudder as we speak.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Any final words for these babies?
I would suggest when you watch Skidamarink, turn the lights off and turn the fucking volume way up and put your phone away. It's the only way you can really enjoy it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And on that note, I want to say happy VD.
Happy VD.
Keep your Valentine's Day real sleazy.
Easy sleaze.
Easy sleazy.
Elegant sleeves for the people, baby. All right. Well, keep it spooky. Keep it creepy. Keep it real vile forever. God bless America and send nudes. Ow!
Sand.
Hey, all you cats and kittens, all you ladies and lady killers out there in real vile land. This is your old pal, Mr. Germ T. Ripper, saying keep it spooky, keep it creepy, keep it real vile forever. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and share all our content. Ow!